All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to crack open the mind of a Roman emperor of all people, Marcus Aurelius, to find a really powerful antidote for our modern day stress. The goal here is to take his ancient wisdom and turn it into a practical, usable toolkit for finding some peace in this chaotic world we live in. So let's start with a question that honestly probably hits home for every single one of us. Think about it. You're driving, someone cuts you off. You're scrolling online, you see a nasty comment. You turn on the news and, ugh. And just like that, boom, your mood tanks, your whole day feels ruined. The big question is, why? Why do we let these external things have so much power over our inner peace?
Well, to answer that, we've got to figure out what the real problem is. And according to the Stoics, we're almost always looking in completely the wrong direction.
And here's where Marcus Aurelius comes in with a pretty surprising diagnosis. He says, look, the problem isn't the other driver. It's not the internet troll. The real source of all our trouble, it's internal. It's our own mind, what he calls our governing self. And the fact that we're just not happy with how it's reacting to things. All that frustration we feel, it's an inside job. It's coming from within, not from the outside world.
And you know what? We make this mistake all the time. We shake our fists at the universe, right? We get angry that it's unfair, that it's handing out pain and pleasure in ways we just don't like. But Aurelius would say, nope, that's a mistake. You're basically picking a fight with reality itself. We're blaming the world when the real issue is our own lack of inner peace.
Okay, so if the problem is internal, well, that means the solution has to be internal too. And this is where we get to the core idea of Stoicism, this concept of an inner fortress, a part of you that, believe it or not, no one and nothing can ever touch. So what is this governing self? Let's break it down. The easiest way to think about it is like the CEO of your mind. It's your core consciousness. It's the part of you that sits back, observes what's going on, forms a judgment, is this good or bad, and then crucially chooses how to respond. And here's the absolute key takeaway. This governing self is the only thing in the entire universe that is 100% in your power. The only thing. And this quote right here just nails the whole concept. He says he escaped all circumstance. How? By realizing it wasn't outside of him, it was inside him, in his judgments. Think about that. Events are just neutral facts. They have zero power over us on their own. They only get their power when we invite them into our minds and slap a label on them. This is terrible. This is unfair. My day is ruined. If you can control those judgments, you can literally cast out the circumstance. You take its power away. Okay, so how do we actually do that? Well, Aurelius gives us a really practical, almost like a mental checklist. First, wipe out imagination. What he means is stop freaking out and imagining the worst-case scenario. Check impulse. Simple. Just pause before you fly off the handle. Quench desire. Don't let your desperate need for external stuff run your life. You see the pattern? It's all about keeping that CEO, your governing self, firmly in charge of its own operations.
All right, now let's apply this whole framework to maybe the biggest source of frustration for all of us. Yep, other people.
So our default setting, right? Someone does something wrong and we think, they harmed me. It feels personal. But Aurelius just flips the whole thing on its head. He says, whoa, hold on. The person doing wrong is actually primarily harming themselves. Think about it. They're the ones damaging their own character, corrupting their own mind. The real lasting injury is to them, the wrongdoer. And that leads to this incredibly powerful piece of advice. When someone does something wrong, don't pick it up. Don't carry it around with you all day like a bag of toxic garbage. That resentment only pollutes your inner world. The act belongs to them. It's their problem. And the Stoic advice is so simple but so hard to do. Just leave it where it is. Let it go. Okay, that all sounds great in theory, but how in the world do we actually do this? In the real world, when we're dealing with difficult people day in and day out. Well, here's a surprisingly clear step-by-step guide right from the text. Step 1, try to understand what's going on in their head. What are they afraid of? What don't they know? What's driving them? Step 2, remember you're both just human. You're cut from the same cloth and you're both flawed. Step 3, if the opportunity is there, try to gently teach or guide them. And if not, just be kind. And finally, step 4, always come back to this. Their bad actions are a stain on their character, not on your untouchable inner self. And I really want to be clear about something here. In the Stoic playbook, kindness is not weakness. It's not about being a doormat or letting someone win. Not at all. It's a sign of immense strength. It's a tool that we've been given specifically to handle these tough situations with grace and to keep control of our own character while we do it.
Okay, so let's pull the camera way back for a second. We've talked about people, but what about the really big stuff? How does this philosophy help us face the biggest external forces there are? Things like change, loss, and even death itself. This is such a beautiful metaphor. Picture a stone being thrown up into the air. The stone doesn't care if it's going up or coming down. Going up isn't good and coming down isn't bad. It's just what a stone does. It's the nature of things. And Aurelius is begging us to see the events of our own lives in the exact same way. They're just part of a natural flow. They're completely neutral until we decide to stick a label on them.
This way of thinking completely reframes our perspective on death. We tend to see it as this one big, terrifying event at the end of the line. But really, our whole life is a series of smaller deaths. Think about it. The person you were as a kid, that person is gone. The person you were as a teenager, gone. Every single transition is an ending of one version of you. So why should we be terrified of the final one when we've been going through them our entire lives? And this all leads to the ultimate Stoic mic drop. Loss is just change. That's it. And change isn't some terrible thing to be avoided. It's the fundamental engine of the entire universe. It's how nature works. So when we learn to accept it, to roll with it instead of fighting it, we're aligning ourselves with the very fabric of reality. And that is a massive source of peace. So after all that, what does this really boil down to? It's this. Your well-being, a good life, it's not about chasing a feeling of happiness 24/7. It's not found in those fleeting emotions that come and go. It's found in what you do. It's about choosing to act with reason, with courage, with kindness, no matter what the world throws at you, and no matter how you might be feeling on the inside. And that really just leaves us with one final, powerful thought. What Marcus Aurelius has shown us is that the key to our own peace of mind, it isn't out there somewhere waiting to be found. It's right here. It's been inside you this whole time, within your own control. The power is and always has been yours. So the only real question left is, what are you going to do with it?